Well, I had an opportunity to go to Baker 1984 fall, and really the spring of 1985 when Charlie Richards came out to Scottsdale Community College, and actually there was 4 of us that year that came to Baker in the spring, and 2 of us really only went on to play for Charlie the next 2 years. So it was Rick Trainer and myself. But it was just really the recruitment of Charlie and his program, and they were already established, and the opportunity to play for a national championship, and that's really what he sold us on, and it's true to form. Well, the one thing I think everybody would say to a man that played for Coach Richards is you knew you were better than your opponent from the time you stepped on the field. He was an excellent recruiter. He was always bringing in players to challenge you for your job. So it was not uncommon every spring to see a lot of different players come into the program. But on top of it, in hindsight, I know my senior year, probably the core players, the local Kansas natives were really and the Missouri natives were really the backbone of our team, I felt, in my opinion. So he did an excellent job recruiting Kansas and Missouri, but also going around the country. And no one was out of his limits from a recruiting standpoint. So I mean, he was a tireless worker in the recruiting process, and he attacked the football aspect of it schematically the same way. He always had trick plays up his sleeve, and so I mean he was really on the cutting edge of being aggressive of the way we played. Even our defense was aggressive in the way they played. But he had excellent players, don't get me wrong, but we had great confidence every time we lined up because we felt we were the better team, both for the way he coached us, but also with the players that we had. Okay. Absolutely, he was very level-headed, and I played tight end, so it wasn't like I was on the phones or part of the play calling or that aspect of it. But I felt the way he carried himself, he was very consistent. His approach, the way he was consumed with he was always coaching. He was always either recruiting or coaching. I could just remember being in his office. There was plays always on the board. He was a pure football man. I mean, he was always talking football. He was always recruiting. So I mean, he's your classic old school football coach. Charlie Richards' record speaks for itself, and he's in the Hall of Fame for rightfully so, and I know everybody's proud of that. But Dan Harris, it was truly the coach that held a lot of things together. He was an offensive line coach when I was here / offensive coordinator, but Dan's personality was, I mean, he had such a unique personality where he can talk to anybody, and he could talk to lingo, and there's times you may have thought he grew up in the Bronx in New York to South Miami. He had so much personality. Everybody respected him. He coached hard as a player, but also I don't know if there's anybody that had more fun than Dan Harris, and he made it fun to play for him. Baker University impacted my life, and I'm now in a position to give back, and I hope I can have an impact on somebody else's life. I believe Mike Grossner is the coach, and frankly, that was a big part of starting the scholarship. Dan Harris was another big part of the scholarship, but to be able to take a junior college kid whose path maybe not has been as clean as he would have liked the first couple of years in college, and now they have the opportunity to be at Baker University, I just wanted to be able to help that individual, finish his career and have a great experience like I did at Baker. Well, Mike Grossner, I had an opportunity to play football with Mike in 1984 at Scottsdale. Also had an opportunity to coach with Mike. We coached together at Fort Hays as graduate assistants. Mike has one of those minds that football always comes very natural to him, especially from an offensive standpoint. So schematically, and his toughness that he played with as a player and his personality are 2 key ingredients that totally make you buy into and believe in his program. He's a tireless worker. He's an old school football coach. We have an opportunity to visit every spring when he comes up to Green Bay. But I think Mike is definitely the right person for Baker University. I think we're very fortunate to have him there because he sees the big picture. He's building a program for the future, and I think he's doing an excellent job, and I'm just thankful that I'm in a position to help him. But the thing I recall about Baker football was it just the black shirts and black helmets. Mike Grossner doesn't like to hear about that, but it was such an impressionable look for us at the time. You know, it's just the way we played. We were a very physical football team. We were a talented football team. We felt we always had the best coach. We felt like we were always the best prepared. But you know, the black hats and the black uniforms, it just created such a presence. You know, a dominant presence during the 2 years that I was part of that program, and that's big in a game of football. You know, mentally when you ran onto the field, you felt that you were carrying so much pride, and you know, and Charlie and Dan Harris and the coaching staff deserves a lot of credit for that, because that's what was instilled in you, and that was, frankly, that was there before I got there. And I mean, he had some very good teams before I know I arrived. But 85 and 86, those were two very good football teams. I just felt living in the Midwest, you know, the Baker University, the environment that I was able to grow in those 2 years, I felt was very important. And frankly, it was a big reason why I continued on to Fort Hays State, because I just felt that the pace of life in the Midwest and the environment that Baker University has intact, just, you know, it just starts at the campus. It's a very comfortable, very unique place. I just can't say enough. I think Baker's a special place. I think it's a unique place. You know, my daughter's a freshman at Kansas University right now, so she knows the real university is right down the street. But no, I'm proud of Baker, and I'm just feel blessed to be able to give back.